Owners haven't received rent. Zhongmao town trembles. Blood stains Zhongmao town. Businesses occupied without paying rent. Disgraceful. Only with force can you protect your rights. Otherwise, you'll face violence if you resist. A series of protests took place across mainland China. People felt unjustly suppressed. Millions of Chinese police poured into the streets to suppress the crowd, helpless before the overwhelming force of angry protesters. In recent times, people on mainland China are increasingly voicing their concerns through strikes and demonstrations. According to the Collective Action Map of Workers compiled by the China Labor Bulletin, CLB, from January to August of this year, there have been at least 875 strikes, protests, or demonstrations across China. Among them, Guangdong Province recorded the highest number with 287 events this year, involving at least 29,000 participants. Of these protests, 78% were marching demonstrations, 10% involved displaying protest banners. In a report, the CLB noted a significant increase in strikes and protests in 2023, with 741 events in the first half of the year compared to 830 events throughout 2022. These aren't isolated incidents, but rather reflections of the mounting economic pressures faced by many in China. As economic challenges persist, the ripple effect is felt widely, prompting more individuals and groups to take to the streets, making their grievances known across various regions of the country. This indicates an increasing instability in China's labor and economic environment. CCP limits New Year gatherings. Students protest erupt. As the year-end approaches in mainland China, the regime fears public gatherings during holidays such as New Year's. They previously prohibited Christmas Eve and Christmas Day celebrations and are now restricting New Year's gatherings. This indicates the regime's vulnerability. Recently, netizens have exclaimed that the CCP appears to face its most formidable generation. As 2024 New Year's approaches, notices across the country discourage New Year's Eve events. There are no countdown activities or large public gatherings, with police implementing crowd control measures. The CCP fears collective protests and thus cancels all festive celebrations, encouraging people to watch TV countdowns to 2024. Unexpectedly, a new generation of students has initiated school-based protests. Recently, students were exposed to extended school hours, no winter or summer breaks, and no weekends. Many schools have seen protests against these conditions, some successfully. It's peculiar that Chinese students are protesting for holidays, an unprecedented event globally. According to student representatives, thousands of male and female dormitory residents began protesting around 11 p.m. on December 28th. The school allowed security to record the protests, accusing students of inciting Hong Kong-like riots. Despite promises to negotiate without penalizing anyone, the school later reneged on its commitments. The students' primary demand was a 3-day break. The school's inconsistent actions led to disciplinary measures against the protesting students. However, the student representative expressed gratitude for the unity and courage displayed by his classmates. Recently, freshmen at Tianjin Academy of Fine Arts posted banners criticizing the institution's teaching arrangements. They opposed a mandatory year-long realistic painting training for all disciplines, which they deemed irrelevant to their future professions. The school removed these banners, but students marked the locations, stating, "Here, there were once 3 A4 papers." The school then painted over these markings. In defiance, students remarked the spots, asserting, "Here, there were once 3 A4 papers." Protest erupts over Ningling killings. CCP blocks internet and highways. At another secondary school, a horrifying incident unfolded. A 14-year-old boy from Ningling County, Shangqiu City, Henan Province, was suspected of being tortured to death by school teachers. However, the school claimed it was a suicide, reigniting public attention. As authorities deployed a large number of special police and officers to enforce citywide lockdown measures, tens of thousands of Henan residents bravely resisted the oppressive force. In reality, had the school and local government not concealed the truth and allowed a proper police investigation, such a large-scale public event might not have erupted. Currently, the Communist Party has deleted all online posts and articles related to this incident. Those who exposed the incident have reportedly been arrested by local police. It's said that the Henan Provincial Public Security Department has issued orders to suppress any emerging dissent. On the afternoon of December 24th, his parents finally saw their son, but were presented with a harrowing sight. Yet, the school insisted he died from falling off a building. The Communist Party's forensic department verbally supported this claim, but did not provide a written report or specify the time of death. The grieving parents demanded surveillance footage from the school, which was staunchly refused. Subsequently, the boy's family placed wreaths outside the school gates, holding his photo to demand justice. A large crowd gathered, including bystanders and police, leaving the officers speechless. Simultaneously, as the public learned of the injustice, their anger surged like a tide in support of the grieving parents. Flowers piled up at the school gate in memory of the deceased child. More and more people joined protests at the school, breaking through police barriers and school gates, heading straight to the school leaders' offices. They vandalized the offices and surrounded the leaders' black cars, demanding answers. Outside the school, intense clashes erupted between the public and the police. Faced with the protesting crowd, the police retreated repeatedly. Suddenly, a man in white shouted, "Halt!" and charged at the police. The crowd followed, driving the police away, though many were arrested in the process. Protesters chanted slogans and stormed the county government building. However, instead of addressing the public's grievances with fairness and justice, authorities escalated their control measures. Subsequently, citizens spotted dozens of special police buses rushing to the scene for stabilization. At the same time, residents of Ningling County received intimidating notices. Everyone was advised to avoid Ningling County and the Yuhua Garden area. All entrances to the county were under strict control, warning that anyone apprehended would bear the consequences themselves. Those with matters to attend to in the county were told to postpone their visits. Especially for parents whose children attend school in Yuhua Garden, they were cautioned against sharing negative information on social media platforms. Anyone found disseminating such information would face corresponding legal consequences. On the same day, Shangqiu City declared partial closures of highways, citing heavy fog as the reason. Soon after, all highways within Shangqiu jurisdiction were shut down. By December 29th, every intersection in Ningling County was heavily guarded by special police. Private vehicles were strategically placed across key intersections to block roads. Despite this, numerous residents took to the streets. Due to police roadblocks, many were trapped outside schools. Police officers, armed with pepper spray, shouted at the crowd, urging unrelated individuals to leave, stating the matter did not concern them and warning against any disruptions. Eventually, the authorities took a severe measure. They cut off the internet. While the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs proclaimed externally that China is the safest country in the world, their own foreign minister, Qin Gang, remains conspicuously absent. The entire city demanded truth from the government. Instead of revealing the facts, the authorities not only resisted transparency, but also resorted to suppressive tactics. Zhongmao town owners rally against rent and police violence. Recently, on December 9th, hundreds of property owners in Zhongmao Town, Changsha District, Hubei Province, gathered to demand the return of their shops and protest against police violence. To voice their grievances, these owners marched through a shopping center, banging pots and pans and honking horns. Their primary concerns were long overdue rent payments by the tenants and alleged police brutality. This demonstration persisted into the evening, with police attempting to seize banners from the property owners, leading to minor clashes. Videos captured numerous property owners inside and outside the shopping center, holding white fabric banners with messages like, "Owners haven't received rent," "Zhongmao Town trembles," "Bloodstains, Zhongmao Town," and "Businesses occupied without paying rent. Disgraceful." Frustrated by the inability to collect rent from their shops, around 3,000 property owners have been actively defending their rights since 2019. In response to the situation, online commentators remarked, "Only with force can you protect your rights. Otherwise, you'll face violence if you resist." Another stated, "The government's solution is delay tactics. If these owners are cornered, the issue might be resolved. Investing in China, with its market economy governed by a regime with no lower limits, inevitably leads to such predicaments." Juji Pearl Trade Hub faces protests amid economic strain. The economic downturn experienced in China has given rise to significant disruptions, with various instances of scallion cutting sparking extensive and continuous public demonstrations. Juji City, often hailed as the global epicenter for freshwater pearl trade, stands out as a paramount hub in this industry. Since its establishment in 2006, covering a sprawling 1.2 million square meters, this city has been instrumental in catering to the needs of more than 60 nations and territories. Impressively, it commands a dominant presence by controlling a staggering 80% share of China's freshwater pearl market and over 75% on a global scale. This signifies its unparalleled stature as the preeminent pearl distribution center worldwide. Recent reports circulating online shed light on a significant development, a profound gesture of protest by over 1,000 merchants based in the International Pearl City and Huadong International Jewelry City within Chuyu City, Jiangxi Province. Their unified action on December 8th involved a collective shutdown of their businesses, driven by grievances over an exorbitant six-fold surge in rental costs, underscoring the mounting economic challenges faced by stakeholders in the region. Langfang merchants protest rent hikes and contract breaches. Additionally, there's news circulating online that over 1,000 merchants at an international auto parts center in Langfang City, Hebei Province, staged a collective strike on November 13th. They were protesting against the center's violation of contracts and unjustified rent hikes. Some of the merchants claimed they had already paid their rent and management fees for October. However, in November, the management allegedly breached the contract by demanding an additional management fee of over 20,000 yuan. A video clip showed a significant gathering of merchants outside the International Auto Parts Center, purportedly voicing their dissent by shouting together, "Return our homes! Return our homes!" Clashes erupt as authorities attempt to close canal in Shuangcheng. On August 5th, the Water Conservancy Department of Shuangcheng District, Jia Urban City, Heilongjiang Province, dispatched personnel to Tianjin Town to close a canal. Concerned citizens, fearing potential flooding, confronted the department's workers. Videos captured the scene where armed forces, special police, regular police, and civilians clashed throughout the day. One video recorder commented, "All police forces from Shuangcheng District are here," while another observed, "The police are monitoring the site, preventing citizens from approaching. Let's see how the ordinary people can counter the authorities." Another individual pointed out the challenging situation, noting the presence of over 100 police officers. In another video, residents continued their resistance late into the night. "It's past 8 p.m. and it's not over yet. The district leaders and department heads are present. We won't let them close the canal," the video recorder stated. Some residents even threatened to drown themselves if the canal was closed. Footage from the evening of August 5th showed citizens jumping into the water to obstruct officials from closing the canal, leading to multiple cries of alarm from onlookers. Some claimed the situation was nearing a tragic outcome, with others alleging that police had used pepper spray to disperse the crowds. Beijing flood strategy sparks local resistance. Since late July, Beijing has been releasing floodwaters, causing areas like Mentuju and Fengshan to flood. The Jeizhou district, under the jurisdiction of Boding City, Hebei Province, faced severe flooding. Online rumors suggested that Tracchow was being used as a flood storage area to protect Beijing and its adjacent Xi'an. As Beijing is the political and economic heart of China, and the development of the new Hong'an district is part of the Millennium Plan, expert Wang Weiluo, residing in Germany, claimed authorities redirected flood waters to protect the new district. Local residents opposed this decision. A video from August 4th showed villagers from Gaobeidian, Baoding City, defending their levees as government workers attempted to dig into them, leading to confrontations. Beijing, Red Cross, faces criticism over donations. In July, the Beijing Red Cross released a list of clothing donations, including a substantial contribution from the Wumu fashion company worth 1.5 million yuan. However, the specifics of the donation, including 4,640 suits and 1,020 vests, drew public ridicule. Netizens joked, questioning the relevance of formal attire for flood victims. As discussions swirled, many speculated on the authenticity and intentions behind these contributions. Despite attempts by the Beijing Red Cross to control the narrative, many continued to mock the organization's efforts, leading to more controversy and skepticism online. CPC's global ambitions spark international concern. Amidst rising discontent among the Chinese populace protesting against their government, the Chinese Communist Party, CPC, has intensified its suppressive tactics, aiming to strengthen its global influence through political maneuvering. Xi Jinping, the CPC's leader, has vigorously pursued the Chinese dream, seeking to enhance China's international stature and sway. Such ambitions have manifested in the CPC's aggressive crackdown on religious freedoms and genocidal practices, especially in regions like Xinjiang and Tibet, drawing widespread international condemnation. Despite global outcry and warnings from various nations and entities about the repercussions of these actions, the CPC's stringent control mechanisms within China limit citizens' access to information, obscuring their understanding of the party's directives and policies. In response to these developments, nations and the international community must rise and implement specific measures. These measures encompass raising awareness and readiness within the international community against threatening behaviors from the CPC, as well as strengthening cooperation and solidarity among countries to counteract and prevent the CPC's expansion of power on the global stage.